Hi, welcome to Thrifty Fibres. My name is Essie. I use she or they pronouns, and this is my corner of YouTube. Today, I actually have quite a lot that I finished. It's been a little while since I updated. I was gonna try and do like a weekly thing. I'm not sure how weekly it'll be. I have some new jobs coming along. Not full-time, sadly. Not paying well, also sadly, but you know, at least work. So, yeah, I'm no longer unemployed. But because of that, and because of my health issues, knitting, videoing, whatever this is gonna take a little bit of a backseat. Partly because I'm just so dang tired. I would like to do more, but anyway, enough with that. I have lots of finished knits. All cozy stuff this week, so I'm really excited about that. I finished all of my mittens. I have 4 pairs of mittens. Let's go over these. So this pair is for me. So these are the ridged mittens from that 50 Norway mittens book. I'll put it in the description. It's across the room right now because I need to take it back to the library tomorrow. These are really comfy. I didn't end up felting them at all because I really like the texture, how it looks now, and they fit well. I don't think felting them would make the fit any different just because they are so stretchy right now and there's lots of extra stretch that I don't need in there, but I'm gonna give them a spin. It's snowing yet again, and I have lots of places I gotta go this week, so these will be going out for a spin this week. I'm very excited. These are, let me look at my notes. I use KnitPicks palette in Clover and a little bit of orange on the bottom. This was wool leftover from my shawlography MCal a couple years ago that I've just been trying to use up, and I used up all the green, so that was exciting. Well, not all of the green. I think I still have, yeah, I still have this much green left, but that's not much, so I'll have to find a new something to do with that. I also finished these little guys. They're so cute. These were almost done in my last podcast, but they are done now. These are for a 1-year-old. They are probably a little bit big, but hopefully he will be able to use them for more than 1 year this way. These are the Fisherman's Mitts pattern from the same Mittens from Norway book. I sized them down just by using sock yarn with the size 0 needle. And these are from the Rellana Funny Ball 1683 colorway. It's Pistachio. I made some socks out of these for another gift, and this was some of the leftover yarn. I still have quite a bit left over, so it's not going into my sock scrap bag, which I'm pulling out of for my my woven hexies, because I think I can still use it for some things, but yeah, 100 grams goes a long way when you're doing socks for relatively small feet and mittens for babies. So that was fun. I'm excited about those. And then I wasn't going to do this. I told myself I wasn't going to do stranded color work this year because of my hands. They've been hurting a lot, but then I started these and they're just too cute. So I did. I actually recorded myself doing this, doing the start of one of these. It's in my slow knitting series. But they came out so much better than I expected. And I actually ran out. Okay, so I ran out of the orange, which was the base color, which was I used for a pair of socks last year, a while ago. And it was in my extra wool scrap pile. And I ended up running out, which is why this part The fingers and the thumb are purple, but I think it works. I think it works really well. And there's the purple snowflake star pattern at the bottom here. I think it's supposed to be a star, but it's hard to see because it was a variegated sock yarn as well, or one of those, not variegated, it was like a self-striping sock yarn, and so some of the color is really pale, some of it is, you know, it blends in with the speckles on the orange, but I really like it. I think it came out really cute. So for this I used, I'm pretty sure, so these were the American mittens, which I guess were found, the museum mittens were found in America, but they were originally from Norway and they were a gift for a small child. So I did not size these down at all. These are meant to be this size. These are knitted on size 0. And the base color is KnitPicks Hawthorne. I don't know the colorway. I couldn't find it. Because like I said, I bought it at least a year ago. It's some kind of orange speckle something. I couldn't find the colorway. The self-striping at the bottom is another KnitPicks. This was Static, I think, and I think it's the Paradise colorway. It's another color that I couldn't find on the KnitPicks website, and I have long lost the label. It's this ball. I don't know what it is. The label is long gone. I think it's Paradise though. And then the purple is the Drops Fabel purple from the socks that I made fairly recently. The purple and orange socks that I made recently. I'm really excited about these. These are going to go to my nephew who is 4. They're a little big. Again, I'm hoping he will be able to wear them for a little bit, at least this winter, if not next winter. I know kids lose and destroy things. It's mostly that I had fun making them, and hopefully he'll get some use out of them. The last pair of mittens I made were kind of another, they were another find out of my old sock yarn stash. And this is another KnitPicks Static. I think this is Taos, the Taos colorway. These are the Asker mittens, again from that book, and they're also child-sized mittens, so I didn't do any sizing down for these. They're knit on size 0. I think there was an option of, oh no, these are knit on size 1. There was an option of a couple of different sizes. The way this book works for sizing is it basically gives you 2 size needles that you can work with, so you're only sizing by playing with the gauge of the yarn rather than like changing the actual pattern to size up or size down. And so for the adult patterns they have men's and women's, and some kind of, I don't know where they get the averages, but whatever. And then for the children's, they usually give you an age range-ish that, you know, general child size age range, and then a couple of needle sizes. I started out with the 0, and then I pulled it out because it was just too tight on the wrist, and I kind of worried that my niece wouldn't be able to get her little hands into this, and that her mom would struggle with them. But I really like these too. These were fun to make. They're really simple to make, a lot like socks to make. And once you get the hang of the decrease shaping at the top for this style of mitten, it's really, these were really, really simple to make. So that's it for my mittens. And then the last kind of spontaneous knit that I made was my hot water bottle cover. So it's been pretty chilly here the last, well, okay, so I had to start turning my heater on at the very beginning of October because it was getting below 60 in my house. And, you know, Bluetooth devices stop working very well in colder weather when it's below 60, apparently. So my keyboard wouldn't work. So I usually try to avoid turning my heater on until November because I live in a very drafty around 100-year-old house. It's from the 1920s. And it's not, the walls aren't insulated. I can feel the cold from outside, like an inch away from the wall. The windows are terrible. So I feel like if I've got the heater on, I'm just pumping money out into nothing. So I try to use space heaters as much as I can. I try to dress warm, and this hot water bottle, a lifesaver. Like, seriously, if you live in a cold area and you don't use a hot water bottle, or you've never heard of using a hot water bottle, our grandparents knew what they were doing, essentially. Get yourself a hot water bottle. So I had put this away for the summer, and I pulled it out sometime early last week, or maybe last weekend, because ADHD brain forgot that a hot water bottle was a thing. I use it every year. I've used it for years. And I don't know why, but I forgot it was a thing until last week. I forgot it was a thing that I owned until last week. So I pulled it out, but for some reason, when I put it away for the summer, I didn't put the cover with it. And you can't really use a hot water bottle without a cover because you'll burn your fingers or your lap or whatever comes into contact with it. And then the cover that I had was a cheap cover from, I think, Amazon. It's cute. It's got a little fox on it, but it's really thin. It doesn't hold the warmth in very well, so the water bottle cools off a lot faster, which isn't a problem, like at night when it's under the covers with me. But actually, this cover, so rewind, normally, so I keep the house at 60 degrees unless I'm not feeling well, and then I'll turn the heat up a little bit to 65, just so I don't have to deal with trying to regulate my temperature when my nervous system already doesn't want to regulate my temperature. So anyway, 60 degrees at night, and my bed is toasty warm. I'm not even a little bit cold at night, but I usually put the hot water bottle by my feet under my blankets, because my feet are the part of me that gets cold, and I hate wearing socks at night. Socks to bed is just, can't do it. And the cover that I had before, the one that I can find with fox on it, it would be cold by morning, which was expected. Like, that's just what I was used to. This sucker, the other day, I got up for work. So I think I probably put it in my bed around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, because I've been going to bed really early because I've been getting up for work at 5:30 in the morning, and I just haven't been feeling well. So I've been trying to get as much sleep as I can. So 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and I'm in bed. So this came with me to bed at 8 or 9 o'clock. I got up for work. I worked the first half of my shift, so that was probably 6 until 10 maybe. That's usually been my morning shift, has been about 6 to 10. I went to grab it because I was kind of chilled in my home office. It was still warm. It wasn't warm enough to be cozy, but it was still warm to the touch. So this cover is amazing. So let me tell you about the cover. The pattern is called All You Need. I'll put it in the description. It's not so you have to do some math with it. It basically gives you how to measure the water bottle. It's a free pattern. It's how to measure the water bottle, how to use your gauge swatch. So I only did a 1-inch-ish gauge swatch because I was in a rush and I wanted to get this thing done. It tells you how to take your gauge swatch and make the shape of the hot water bottle cover, and because they're variable sizes, right? So it was perfect. It worked out so good, and I can do math when I put my brain to it, but I'm very out of practice, and I mostly don't want to put my brain to it, but these were my notes from it, and it worked perfectly. So I was very pleased. I used ancient, where did I put that? Oh, ancient yarn. It's not ancient. It's from probably around 2003 or 2004. I was on a scarf knitting kick. I was working, so it would have been 2004, I think, because I was working for a park and I had to sit in, it was for a city park, and I had to sit in the booth where people drive in and show their park pass. And depending on the time of day, like, someone had to be there, but like you might get 1 or 2 people an hour. So I would sit with this really old, like, bunny ears antenna TV, little tiny thing. It was the first time I like ever sat and like watched sitcom type shows, because it just wasn't a thing I watched growing up. And I would knit. So I knit everybody's scarves that year. And this was some leftover yarn from that. This is Lion Brand WoolEase worsted weight. And it's mostly acrylic. Yeah, it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. And this is the heathered, chestnut heather. And it's a superwash, for sure. It doesn't say superwash, but I knit myself a scarf with this too, and I washed it and dried it because I didn't know how to deal with wool when I was 19, or 18, or however old I was in 2004. But yeah, it's perfect. It's great. It's already getting a little worn because I've got my flannel sheets and I've just been, I've beating the crap out of it. It's also a pretty loose gauge. So I remember when I knit this yarn, I was using a size 7 needle, and this I used a size 8. Partly because I didn't want to knit the fabric too thick, because if you have too thick of a fabric, you're not going to get the warmth from the bottle. It's really warm right now and I'm cold, so this is this is quite cozy. Anyway, the only thing that I'm mixed about is, and this was 100% on me, when you knit the neck part, I knit it the correct measurement, which was 4.5 inches. But just, I think maybe my measurement was off or something. It's just a little too short, but actually it does make it like aesthetically, I'm kind of meh because I can see the bottle and I can feel the bottle, but also when I'm filling it up, I'm not splashing near boiling water on the rest of the fabric because it's easy to access the top of the water bottle. So this was my surprise unplanned knit for myself this week, and I'm very, very happy with it. So let's move on to what's on my needles right now. I have 2 sock projects I'm working on. I guess this one's technically not actually on my needles anymore. This is another gift. It looks really long. Wow. I need to try this on my foot. The person I'm gifting it to has a slightly longer foot than me, but that looks really long. I was rushing to get it off the needles because I was tired of working with this yarn. I've been making too many socks. This is the Rellana Funny Ball, and this one is 1681 in berries. This is the one I thought was red, but is actually pink and purple. So I may need to take that and rip it back a little bit and redo the toe because I think it might be a little bit long. I don't know. That looks really long to me. Anyway, this isn't technically on the needles anymore, but I still have to knit the second sock. It's going to be a while because I got sidetracked with a nicer yarn sock that I am really enjoying, and that is this beautiful, see, I finally found red. This is beautiful red, yellow, and black yarn. So this yarn, where is the tag? Oh my goodness. This yarn is Turtle Purl. That is a really hard thing to say. Turtle Purl. And it is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's a 4-ply. It's gorgeous. It has kind of a silky sheen to it. It's not really showing up in the camera. It's also a little bit of a deeper red than is showing up on camera. It's self-striping, and it came in 2 hanks, and they're meant to be exactly the same, so you could technically do 2 at a time socks, and the stripes should work out, which I don't really care about, but these are gift socks, so I am going to try and keep them not looking as crazy. They're gift socks for somebody I've never gifted socks to before. So I don't know how much he likes goofy socks. I'm told he's been wearing red lately. These are also, the name of the colorway is Token Redshirt. That may or may not have been why I was willing to spend a little bit more on these than I usually would have. Partly because it's a Canadian company. So I had to pay a little bit extra shipping to get these, but worth it because I'm enjoying the heck out of knitting it. I'm using this yarn. It's Filcolana Arwetta. It's a black merino superwash, merino nylon blend superwash for the top ribbing, the heel, and then I'm going to do it for the toe. I was going to try something new with these. I actually did start trying something new with these. I was going to do a peasant heel, which is like a planned afterthought heel. And I put my holding yarn in, and then I got halfway through the foot and I was like, you know what? I want to try that heel and make sure I like it. So I put the foot on hold and I started to do the heel, and I hated it. It looked terrible. It was clunky, and I didn't like how it looked, and it didn't seem, the thing I really like about this kind of heel, so this is just like a regular flat heel with a twisted rib, and not even, it's like a slipped, every other row, so on the knit row, you knit this flat, right? On the knit row, I slip one and knit one, slip one, knit one, and then the slip stitch gets twisted on the purl row. So this gives it takes a lot of wear on this part of the sock, and this is my favorite type of heel to do because it's so durable, since this is one of the parts of the socks that wears out fastest. And I didn't want to do this kind of heel because when you're doing a self-striping sock, this part, the decrease here for the gusset, takes more yarn, and so the self-striping pattern kind of gets messed up a little bit, and I was trying to make these look as nice as possible, but I think it looks fine. The self-striping part doesn't look that much off from the rest of the sock fabrics. So anyway, I really I used the instructions in this book, the Elizabeth Zimmerman Knitting Without Tears. She has instructions for an afterthought heel where you use 2/3 of the size of the sock to make the heel, which made sense for me because there is so much tension on the, anyway. I didn't like it, so I'm not going to do that kind of heel again. I might try and think of other ways to do a heel, but for now I'm just happy with my regular flap heel, and I'll get over myself. So that's been my knitting, but okay, I have another complaint about the ChowGoo cables for the mini needles. This happened again. This is the second cable that this has happened to, and it happened on both ends this time, and the first end went while I was working on these red socks, and again it was the end of my working needle, the one in my right hand, that went, And then, just as an experiment, I wiggled the other end just a tiny bit and it popped right off. So I'm a little frustrated. I really like the actual needle, so this still has the tip on it. I like these needles because they're stiff, they're strong, and they have a nice tip on them, and they don't bend like thinner needles tend to do. So all of my needles that are on this sock have a slight bend where, you know, my hand goes. And I'm constantly having to like rebend them back into shape, and eventually they just, you know, die because I've been bending them too much. And so I really like these needles for that, but this is the second one this has happened to, and the second cable that this has happened to, and I don't know what to do about that. I don't know if there's a way to fix it, or prevent it from happening. I looked at, so Xiaogu has this swivel cable. They don't sell it in the mini size. And there's also, the reviews that I saw complained about, like, there's a jog between where the cable goes in to the end, which would drive me absolutely crazy. So I don't know what to do about that. Have you guys ever had this problem with cable needles? Also, like, what's your solution? Let me know. Let me know. This is, I'm assuming because they are so thin, they're much more delicate, but also these are expensive. They're like, a replacement cable is like $9. So it's not something that you can just like easily or cheaply replace. Also, that's, you know, you end up wasting a bunch of plastic. There's wire in this, but it's coated in plastic. I hate throwing away plastic when I don't have to. So anyway, that happened this week. That was annoying. But let me know if that's happened to you and how you get around it, prevent it, fix it, repair it. I have no idea. Just let me know what you do. Okay, on to weaving. I did some more hexies this week, mostly with the little bits of leftovers from the Pistachio funny ball and the very tiny amount of the Taos yarn that I had left over when I got done with the gloves, mittens. And then this was a bit of the Paradise yarn that I pulled off of the ball when I was doing the color work because it was so light. There was so much of this like really light purple that it wasn't going to show up very well, so I pulled that off and put it aside, and I made a little hexie out of it. So these are so soft, especially compared to like the funny ball yarn. These are just like absurdly soft. This is such coarse yarn. But yeah, so a few more hexies to go in my stash. One of these days I'm gonna have to count out and see how many I have, and how many more I still need to make. But yeah, that's my weaving. Oh, I've also done some work with my Lucet. So if you don't know what a Lucet is, this is a Lucet fork. This is my favorite one. I have 3. This one is handmade out of, I think, I asked the seller, this is years ago now, I asked the seller, and I think he said this is a cow bone. He gets them from somewhere local that deals with butchering cows. So this is a byproduct of the meat industry. And this, I love it because it fits my hand really well and it's just really easy to turn. So it works really well for smaller cables. So if you don't know what a Lucet is, it works for making cables or cordage. Not cordage. Cordage is actually its own thing, but it works for making cords. So, like this. So, context for this. Years and years ago, I was making these bags. I think around 2019, I got a new to me vintage sewing machine as a gift because I had wanted to start sewing again, and my old machine from high school died about the time I was halfway through college because I used it to death, and it was like the cheapest model of brother machine, the type that you'd give to a 15-year-old who's, you know, just learning how to sew. And I ended up using my mom's machine for quite a while. She has an old Kenmore from the 70s that still works really good. It has its problems, but it's at least repairable. The brother machine, when we took it in to get it repaired, we took it to 2 or 3 different places, and they were all like, this thing is not, it's going to cost more than a new sewing machine to repair. And I think there were some things wrong with it that just weren't repairable because they don't make the parts for it. So anyway, I was given a vintage sewing machine, one of the big metal monstrosities. And so I was relearning how to sew, and so I just made these little bags. This is my dice bag. My D&D dice are in there. Not that I play D&D anymore because there's nobody around me to play with. I miss D&D. I miss my D&D group. So these are just squares, basically, that you fold the corners down and put a drawstring through. So when I made these, I bought a bunch of cotton cording. This was just scrap fabric that I had from high school or college, or I don't know, I still have a ton of it. It's like this, I'm assuming polyester because I've never had a significant amount of money to spend on fancy fabrics, but it's like this kind of, it's got like a texture to it. It's like a fake brocade, I guess, meant to mimic like a silk brocade. Anyway, I had a bunch of it. I don't remember why I bought it, but I had a bunch in a bunch of different colors. So I made these little bags and bought some cord, and cord is really freaking expensive. Like $1 or something minimum per yard. When you're using 2 yards per bag, that's $3 a bag. It's insane. So, I mean, I guess it's not quite 2 yards. It's like 1.5 yards of cord. So anyway, these bags have been in my sewing stuff since I made them. I never did anything with them. I think this became my dice bag. I think I gave one to my mom because she really loved it. And I made some similar ones as Christmas gift bags in 2020. And then I haven't done anything with them. So this year I was watching Lena Norms's Christmas gift video. If you've never heard of Lena Norms, she's a British book. She comes from the booktube verse, I guess, and she has a lot now on the climate crisis and just her coming to grips with what's going on globally and ways to be a little less consumerist or disposable. Anyway, she's been on a really fascinating journey for the last few years, which was not why I subscribed to her channel, but it was welcome. People who know me in real life know I'm an environmental historian. So this is something that is near and dear to my heart. But anyway, it was an unexpected twist in her channel content, but this year she had like a bunch of different gift ideas, or like genres. I'll link the video below. It's really good. If you're looking for ways to think of creative gift ideas. But anyway, one of her things was reusable gift bags. And I was like, why did I never think of that? I am the type of person, gift bags, don't like them. Wrapping presents, no. For several years now, I either have just handed the person the thing unwrapped or I've put some ribbon on it. And that's the extent of my gift wrapping. I think it's a stupid construct. I understand it intellectually, but I think I've always thought it was wasteful. I've never been cool with spending a bunch of money just so somebody could rip it up and throw it away. Never made sense to me. So anyway, I was like, oh yeah, why did I not think of this? SEU dummy. This is one of the bags I finished last night. I made the cord out of crochet cotton. I have a little bit of silver and a lot of this gold crochet cotton, which is absolutely miserable to work with because it's got, I don't have any near me to show you. It's got the regular twist of mercerized cotton, and then it's got this plastic metallic single strand wrapped around that, and it's a pain in the neck to work with. I think I bought it for a crochet project at one point. I was trying to crochet poinsettias, and it was an absolute nightmare, and I decided I was never going to try and crochet with it again. Last night while I was doing this, I made up my mind that I was never going to try and use it with my Lucet again, and then today when I was looking at the fabric I have to make gift bags, yeah, I'm gonna be making more cord with it. But it came out really cute. I really like how it came out. Slightly sparkly. And then I just added some beads to the bottom, and it works. This is already a wrapped gift, and the goal is that the giftee, so the gift is already inside here. This is, well, I don't know if the giftee will be watching this, so I'm not going to say what's inside of it. But the goal is that, like, maybe she can use this as, like, a dice bag or just a cute little bag to be around the house. Yeah, so that was fun. And then today I worked on this black cord. I don't have beads for it yet. I went through my bead collection, and most of my beading has been really small beads is what I tended to work with. So I do have some small silver beads, but what I really wanted was beads like about this size. Like, you want these kind of chunky beads. That's going to be a trip to the craft store at some point this week to finish that off. But yeah, if you've never heard of a Lucet and you tend to use a lot of cord, I highly recommend looking it up. I've never seen a Lucet in a store, in a physical store, but they're really easy to find online. Etsy's got a bajillion of them. Amazon even has one if you're okay with using Amazon. I think I got my first Lucet off Amazon years ago. And it's time consuming. It probably takes an hour to make a yard. This is probably is that a yard? So this is probably using about 2 yards of cord for the full drawstring, and I want to say it probably took me about an hour and a half or so of just sitting and listening to podcasts or whatever. So it is time consuming. It's not, it's definitely not as easy as buying cord from the store, but bonus, you can pick your own colors, and it's way cheaper. Like, that crochet cotton, this stuff is what, $3.50 used to be. I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be like $3.50 for a thing of crochet cotton. And this is a fairly new-ish it's fairly full still, so I don't know how much of this I've used. I know I have used it for some weaving projects, but for the amount that you use for a cord is minuscule. So argument for a Lucet. This is a really cheap way to make cords if you have the time to sit down and fiddle with a Lucet fork. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I've got for you this podcast not quite week. What are you working on? What are some of the things that you're making for Christmas? Have you ever made your own gift bags? And if so, like, what kind of gift bags have you found that are like most useful for people? So I know, like, in my family at least, we tend to not put stickers on those like dollar store gift bags so that they can be reused until they die. Which is that's at least a little bit less spendy and wasteful than some ways of doing gift bags. But one thing that I really want to be mindful of is I want people to be able to use what I make them, even if it is just the bag. So I'm really curious if you've ever made your own gift bags, especially for Christmas. What style of bag did you make? And how was it received? How did people use it? The one that I'm planning on. So I was given this bag as a gift. This is actually silk. This is from an old kimono, I guess. One of my coworkers at an internship I did in, what was it, 2016? 2015 or 2016? Oh my gosh, I don't even remember. I did an internship at a national museum in Japan, and one of my coworkers gifted this to me on my last day, and her mom buys old kimonos and cuts them up and makes them into these bags, and I like the contrasting. This is the lining. I really liked this style of bag, and so this is the style that I was thinking of doing for the gift bags that I make. Yeah, but I'm not sure. I have no idea when I'm going to have the energy or the time to make those, since, that's a lot more physical than knitting or using my Lucet. But anyway, this was the style I was thinking of. But I would love to hear other people's experiences making gift bags. So if you have any ideas or experience or just thoughts, I would love to hear them. Otherwise, I hope you are staying warm wherever you're at. If it's summer, I'm jealous. If you are chilly like me, I hope you have either a nice fireplace, a warm blanket, or cozy hot water bottle or something like that, or maybe a cozy kitty to cuddle up with, or puppy. But anyway, I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching.